Welcome to Brain Vision.
So I'm going to explain with a ray diagram how a concave and a convex mirror produce images. So we're going to start off with a concave mirror. Now a concave mirror does have a focal point, and they have what's called a center of curvature. My center of curvature is 2 times the length of my focal length. Now, a concave mirror will produce a real image anytime it is beyond my focal. So if I put my object, let's say I'm using an arrow to represent my object, if I put this arrow anywhere beyond my focal, it will produce an image, a real image. If I put it on my focal, it's going to not produce an image. If I put it beyond my focal towards the mirror, then it's going to produce a virtual image. And so I can sketch that out for those 2 different situations. For the first situation, you always draw your lines parallel to the principal axis. You're going to hit your mirror and then go through your focal. And your second one is going to go through your center of curvature. So you can see how my image is all the way back here. You can also see that it's inverted. Anytime you have an inverted image, it is a real image. Or rather, if you have a real image, it will be inverted. If you are within your focal, let's say your focal is over here, and I'm putting my object out on this side of my focal, then you're still going to draw parallel to the principal axis, and then you're going to go through your focal, and then you're going to go through your center of curvature. And you can see how these lines start to get further and further apart, which means they're not going to connect on this side. But if you were to backtrace these lines, you can see that they do in fact produce a virtual image on the right-hand side of the mirror, which means this is inside of the mirror, and you can see how it's upright, and this will be a virtual image. This means it cannot be projected onto a screen. So those are the basically 3 different situations. Again, if it's on your focal, your lines are actually going to be parallel, which means you will not create an image at all. So those are your 3 situations for a concave mirror. We can look at the same situations for a convex mirror, but a convex mirror only produces virtual images. And that's true whether it's within the focal, at the focal, beyond the focal. So I'm going to put my object anywhere in front of my mirror, and then I'm going to draw my focal, and I'll draw my center of curvature. So I have my line parallel to the principal axis, and then it's going to go through my focal. And then my second one is going to go through my center of curvature. You can see how it does intersect at this point. So I do have this tiny upright virtual image. Again, these virtual images cannot be projected onto a screen. And what's really happening to the light, you see that the line is parallel to your principal axis. Your light is actually being reflected this way. And so your eye would be over here, and you would see an image inside of the mirror.